Close your eyes. Open your mind. The night is quiet, and the world feels as though it is holding its breath. You walk slowly along cobblestone streets, each step soft and deliberate. The stones are cool and damp beneath your feet, carrying the faint scent of rain that has only just faded. The air is fresh and crisp, a gentle night breeze brushing across your face. Above, the sky is deep and velvet dark, scattered with pale stars. The moon lingers low, casting a silvery glow that turns the rooftops into soft shapes, blurred by the shadows. Around you, the city has fallen into stillness. Curtains are drawn, windows closed, the hum of life gone quiet. You take another slow breath. The night carries with it the smells of moss and earth, of old brick walls cooling after the day's warmth, and a faint sweetness drifting from somewhere unseen, like a reminder of comfort. Each breath you take feels steadying, as if the air itself is guiding your heart into a calmer rhythm. The street narrows as you walk further, the tall buildings leaning closer together, their windows dark. You feel safe here, as though the world has been reduced to you and the soft, guiding night. Your body feels a little heavier, your shoulders lower, your thoughts beginning to quiet. At the end of the street, tucked almost out of sight, you notice an old bookshop. Its doorway is arched, the glass of its windows cloudy with dust. A lantern hangs outside, dim and flickering, its glow spilling across the stone path in uneven golden patches. There's something unusual about it, something gentle, but magnetic, like it has been waiting for you all along. You pause, resting for a moment, letting the silence gather around you. The scent of aged paper and wax drifts faintly even here, calling you closer, inviting you to step toward the unknown. You push open the heavy wooden door, and it creaks on its hinges, releasing a cool breath of air. Inside, the bookshop is dim, shadows pooling in every corner. Dust hangs in the air like faint smoke, drifting through the pale light of a single lantern near the counter. The atmosphere is hushed, still, as though the walls themselves are holding on to centuries of silence. You step inside, and the scents of the place rise gently to greet you. Aged parchment, brittle with time, soft beeswax from the lantern flame, and a faint spice, cinnamon and clove, lingering like an echo of something, once baked long ago. Each breath feels grounding, as though the air has been waiting to steady your thoughts. Rows of shelves tower over you, their wood darkened with age. Books rest unevenly upon them, their spines cracked, their edges curled, their colors muted by dust. Your fingertips trail lightly across them, leaving faint lines on the wood, stirring motes into the lantern glow. Then, as your hand presses gently against one particularly tall, crooked shelf, you feel it shift beneath your touch. At first, just the faintest groan, wood rubbing against stone. Then, with a deeper sigh, the entire bookshelf begins to pivot, swinging open slowly, as if on hidden hinges. Behind it, a secret passage is revealed. A thin breath of golden light spills from within, warmer and richer than the faded lantern glow. The air that drifts out to meet you is different, heavier, layered with the perfume of leather bindings, dried lavender tucked between old pages, and the faint mineral coolness of stone walls. The secret door beckons. The silence deepens. And without hesitation, you step forward, crossing from the ordinary world into something infinite, something hidden, something safe. As you step beyond the swinging bookshelf, the passage widens and opens, and suddenly the space around you is vast. The hidden library stretches endlessly in every direction, more immense than any single building could ever hold. Tall shelves rise higher than your eyes can follow, their tops vanishing into shadows where soft lantern light fades into mystery. Between the shelves, narrow walkways twist and wind, leading into corridors of books that seem to go on forever. It feels like stepping into a dream, a place untouched by time, waiting quietly in its own eternal dusk. The air is cool, but not cold, carrying scents that wrap around you like a blanket. Polished leather, warm beeswax, a sweetness of pressed flowers hidden in pages long unread. Somewhere far off, you catch the faintest note of rosemary and pine, as though the library remembers every hand that once touched its shelves. Above you, golden lanterns float, suspended without chains, their flames steady and calm. Their light drifts down in soft pools that glow across the shelves and carpet the floor in golden patches. Dust motes drift lazily through the beams of light, like tiny stars in orbit, making the library feel like a night sky brought indoors. You pause to listen. There is no sound of footsteps but your own, no voices, no clock to measure the hours. And yet, it does not feel empty. It feels watched over, protected, alive with the quiet presence of something kind, something timeless. Your shoulders ease as you walk slowly into the first aisle. The silence is not heavy here. It is comforting, like the long pause of a story before the next chapter begins. Each step brings a deeper calm. Each breath steadies the mind. And you know with certainty that this place is safe. You drift slowly into the rows of shelves, each one towering above you like ancient guardians of memory. The floor beneath your feet is soft with worn carpet, muffling your steps so that the library seems to breathe in silence around you. Your hand trails gently across the spines of the books. Some are smooth, polished with use, their gilded titles still bright. Others are cracked and fragile, the leather flaking softly at your touch. Their textures change beneath your fingertips, cool, grainy, warm, rough, each one whispering a fragment of the past. The scents here are richer still. Every row seems to carry its own story. A woody cedar sweetness, smoky oak, the peppery tang of old ink, even a faint coolness like fresh peppermint. It's as if each collection of books holds not only words but aromas. Memories pressed between the pages, releasing themselves gently as you pass. The light from the floating lanterns glimmers across gold-embossed letters, making them shimmer and vanish again as you move. Shadows fall long and soft, wrapping the aisles in an endless twilight. Now and then, you hear the faintest sounds, softer than whispers, like the turning of a page somewhere just out of sight, or the sigh of parchment shifting in the quiet. It doesn't disturb the stillness. Instead, it comforts, reminding you that the library is alive and you are not alone. A ladder rolls gently along one row, moving by itself with a sound like a distant sigh. It settles right where you stand, an invitation. You pause, resting your hand on the cool wood of its frame, and for a moment you imagine climbing upward, higher into the shelves where even deeper secrets wait. But not yet. For now, the journey is steady, unhurried. This is a place where time has no hold, where you can wander forever, safe and at peace. As you wander further between the shelves, your eyes catch the gentle curve of a staircase tucked into a corner. It spirals upward, carved from dark, polished wood that glows faintly in the lantern light. The banister is smooth beneath your hand, worn soft by countless touches long before your own. You place a foot on the first step. It creaks faintly, not in warning, but in welcome, like a voice that remembers every person who has ever passed this way. With each slow step upward, the scents shift again. Cedarwood rising warmly from the polished stairs. A trace of pipe tobacco lingering like the ghost of a reader who once rested here. And the faint herbal sweetness of time woven into the air. As you climb, alcoves appear along the wall, each holding little treasures, glass bottles filled with golden dust, bundles of pressed flowers, pieces of parchment rolled and tied with ribbon. Some carry faint perfumes of rose and lavender, others a sharper hint of mint or sage. Every breath you take feels like an unraveling of stories you cannot quite read, but can sense. Higher and higher you go, the spiral carrying you above the shelves. At last you pause, resting your hand against the banister, and look out. From this height, the library spreads endlessly in every direction. Lanterns float far below, like constellations scattered across a night sky, each glowing point marking another hidden corner of wonder. The shelves ripple outward in patterns that seem almost alive, curving and bending as if they are shifting gently in your presence. The vastness does not overwhelm you. Instead, it soothes you. Here there is no rush, no demand, no noise to pull you away. Only the steady rhythm of your breath, the creak of the old wood beneath your feet, and the calm that deepens with every moment you remain in this place. At the top of the staircase, a narrow archway opens before you. You step through, and the library shifts again. This new chamber is vast and vaulted, its ceiling arched like the nave of a cathedral. The air feels different here. Cooler, tinged with a sweetness that drifts like perfume through the silence. Chamomile and honey linger most strongly, blending with the musk of paper and ink, and the faint resinous glow of frankincense burned long ago. The combination is soothing, grounding, wrapping you in calm. Before you, rows of shelves fall away into the distance. But here, not all books stay bound to the wood. Some float gently in the air, drifting like leaves caught in a slow, invisible current. Their covers are aged and weighty, yet they move with grace, turning in slow circles as though carried by a dream. You pause to watch them. As each one passes, you hear the faintest whisper, soft like breath against your ear. The voices overlap, hundreds of them, weaving together into a tapestry of sound. None are loud enough to be understood, but the mood is unmistakable. They are stories, memories, lullabies, half-sung, forgotten dreams retold. The whispers are not intrusive. They soothe, they reassure. Each murmur is gentle as water lapping at the shore, carrying you further into calm. One book drifts closer to you, its leather cover worn smooth by centuries of invisible hands. It hovers at your shoulder before settling onto a wooden lectern nearby. Its pages flutter open with a sigh, releasing a fresh wave of fragrance, sweet vanilla, faint clove, and the dusty perfume of paper warmed by lantern light. The glow of the lectern bathes you in a soft golden haze, like the embrace of a guardian presence. For a moment, the world feels narrowed to this single point of light, steady and safe. Above, the vaulted ceiling hums faintly, as though the library itself is alive, breathing in rhythm with your own. You linger here, soaking in the quiet chorus of whispers, your body loosening, your mind softening further into stillness. Each breath feels deeper now, each thought grows lighter, and with every passing moment you feel yourself drawn more gently into the library's embrace. At the far end of the whispering hall, you notice a small turning in the shelves. The floating books drift away, their voices fading, and the path draws you inward, away from the vastness. Here, the space is smaller, intimate, carved into a hidden alcove between the stacks. A velvet armchair waits by a low table, its cushions deep and inviting, the fabric smelling faintly of lavender and clean linen. A lantern glows warmly beside it, its flame steady, casting a golden pool of light across the chair and floor. The air here feels different, close, comforting, wrapped in the scents of sandalwood smoke, beeswax, and the faint sweetness of vanilla. It is a fragrance that quiets the mind instantly, drawing tension down and away, leaving only stillness. On the table rests a book, already open, its parchment glowing faintly as though alive. You step closer, and the scent of its pages rises gently. Warm clove, honey, and the softness of dried flowers pressed between sheets long ago. The fragrance pulls at your memory, though you cannot place it, as if it carries stories you once knew, from dreams you've forgotten. You lower yourself into the chair. Its cushions sink softly beneath you, cradling your body as if they were made to fit only you. The lantern flickers, shadows dancing against the shelves, and the silence here is a deeper kind, more personal, as though the entire library has stilled just for you. The book waits patiently. Its words are not hurried. They seem to glow and shift faintly, each one pulsing like a heartbeat, inviting you to read. And as you lean closer, the air feels charged, alive, as though you are on the threshold of stepping into the story itself. The edges of the room blur slightly. Your body feels heavy, safe, supported, and your mind feels light, open, ready to drift. The library is no longer just around you. It is within you. And the story you are about to read is one meant only for your dreams. Your eyes rest on the glowing page. The words ripple faintly, and as you read them, something begins to change. The letters do not stay still. They shimmer, flowing like water, until the lines of the story rise softly from the paper and drift into the air around you. At first, it is subtle, a faint outline, a brush of color, the shadow of a scene forming. Then slowly, seamlessly, the world of the book surrounds you, wrapping you in its imagery as though the pages themselves have unfolded into reality. You find yourself standing on a gentle path through a quiet forest. The ground beneath your feet is soft with moss, cool and springy, carrying the sweet fragrance of pine needles and damp earth. Above, the trees stretch tall, their branches swaying faintly in a breeze that hums like a lullaby. The air smells of green leaves, fresh rain, and the faintest touch of wildflowers. As you walk, the story carries you onward. The sound of water begins to reach you, soft, steady, calming. A stream flows nearby, its surface glowing faintly with starlight that has slipped down through the trees. The scent of clear, mineral water fills your breath, fresh and cleansing, as if every inhalation washes your mind clean. The forest gives way to a meadow. Here, the grasses sway in rhythm, a sea of silver under the moon. Scents of honey and wild lavender drift across the air, and you pause to listen to the chorus of crickets and the rustle of petals in the breeze. The sky is wide, filled with stars that seem close enough to touch, each one glowing gently like another lantern in the library. Everywhere you step, the world feels alive but not demanding. The story unfolds at its own slow rhythm, and you follow it without thought, without effort, as though you were always meant to walk this way. Your body grows heavier with each step, every breath drawing you deeper into calm. The boundaries between book and dream, story and sleep, grow softer, blurred. The world is holding you, gently guiding you forward, wrapping you in peace. And though you know you are still in the library, resting in the velvet chair, it feels as if you have already drifted into a dream that belongs only to you. As you linger in this dreamlike meadow, a soft sound draws your attention. Footsteps, slow and steady, echoing as though across both the forest path and the aisles of the library at once. You turn, and there, just beyond the glow of lantern light, a figure approaches. Cloaked in shadow, they move with calm assurance, their presence neither sudden nor startling, but deeply familiar. This is the librarian, not of flesh and time, but of the library itself. An ageless guardian woven from the quiet and the whispers, carrying the stillness of the place in every step. They draw close, and with them comes a comforting fragrance. Wool warmed by candlelight, the resinous smoke of frankincense, and the faint herbal trace of sage. It is grounding, protective, wrapping around you like a blanket on a winter night. The librarian rests a hand lightly on your shoulder. Their touch is feather-soft, yet steadying, as though they are reminding you of something you already knew. That here you are safe. That here nothing can trouble you. They lean close, their voice no more than a whisper carried on the air. The library will always be here, they murmur. You may return whenever you wish. The doors will find you, and the stories will wait. The words drift into you like a lullaby, calming every last ripple of thought. The librarian's presence is gentle but certain, a reminder that you are never alone. Not in this place, not in this rest. For a moment, their form seems to shimmer, as if they are both beside you in the dream and waiting in the alcove of books. Then, as silently as they arrived, they fade back into the library's glow, leaving behind only the fragrance of calm and the warmth of reassurance. And you know, with perfect clarity, that you are free to let go, free to rest. The dream meadow slowly softens, its colors fading like watercolor in rain. The stars above blur into lantern light, and the cool moss beneath your feet becomes the velvet cushions of the reading nook once more. You are back in the library, safe in its embrace. The velvet chair cradles your body perfectly. The air is warm and still, carrying the soft fragrance of lavender, beeswax, and the faint sweetness of vanilla from the open book. The lantern beside you flickers gently, its golden glow dimming, not to vanish but to soften, like a candle carried into the distance. Around you, the endless library hums faintly, as though breathing with you, matching each inhale and each exhale. The shelves seem to lean inward slightly, not enclosing you, but protecting you, cocooning you in stillness. Your eyelids feel heavy now. Your body loosens into the cushions, every muscle unwinding, every thought slowing into quiet. The library asks for nothing, expects nothing, only that you rest, here in its timeless calm. The book closes softly upon the table, its glow fading to a gentle warmth. A final wave of fragrance, lavender, chamomile, and honey, drifts upward, easing you further into tranquility. You let your eyes close fully. The sounds of whispers, the drifting of pages, the creak of ladders all dissolve into silence. The only rhythm that remains is your own steady breath, the anchor that guides you deeper and deeper still. The library will always be here. The shelves will wait. The stories will remain. And now you can let go, sinking into sleep as gently as falling into a dream.